Hello everyone, my name is Amesora. Today we have with us Mr. Vedant.
Hi, Atul. How are you? I'm very well. How are you?
I am really very good. Let's start with our today's podcast topic.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the bikes you like and the bikes you drive?
Bikes I like and the bike I drive. So I'll start with my journey with motorcycling and how did I start? So back in 2007, 8, when the laws were very lenient, I can say. Uh, my friend actually taught me how to ride a bike. My father also did. So that's when I started riding a motorcycle. It was a TVS Victor. It was a 110cc or 100cc bike, I guess, and it was quite fast for its time. And we didn't have much traffic back then. Not many checkings everywhere like what we have today. So yeah, so I started riding on a motorcycle when I was about 14 years old, and uh, other than that, it just grew as a hobby eventually because the speed and the thrill and it just kept on calling me again and again and again. And then I started having friends who are bikers. So every time I used to meet, I used to try their bikes. And I'm very thankful that they gave me to try their bikes like Pulsar 220, which was the fastest back then, which was my friend Arindam, whose bike I rode. And there was this friend, another friend called Bhavik, whose Duke 200, which was quite new for the country, which even people did not know what KTM was. And he was the first person to buy a KTM in Bombay. So I rode his motorcycle. And that was crazy acceleration for its time. And that's how the craze kept on increasing. Then I rode 390, and that has blown my mind. And till date, it does. So it's the best bang for the buck motorcycle for 150 back then, I guess. 1.5, 43 horsepower on a motorcycle was crazy. So yeah. So your question, back to your question, what I ride is I currently have around. I've ridden a lot of motorcycles. I have three motorcycles and two scooters. Two scooters for commuting on a daily basis. I have a Royal Enfield 350 Classic. So that was my first sort of a bike you can say. So I've done my trips to Ladakh, obviously. Bullet liya to Ladakh jana hai. And yeah, also I've covered all the western region of India, like from Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, down to Goa. So the whole western belt I've been covering. I have to still cover the central and eastern side of India. And the other bike which I've recently purchased is the Yamaha R15. Yeah, it's a down. You can say it's a down step in the CC because from 350 to 150. But then I have some bigger plans for a bigger motorcycle, so I just wanted to go into the sports bike arena. So what I used to ride was a classic, and it's a very cruiser type bike, and this R15 is a very sport bike basically. So I wanted my body to get accustomed to it, and you know, I don't want to buy a 20 lakh bike and then have back pain. So rather, I'll be prepared for it from now and see if I'm ready for it well and good enough, and then purchase the bike. So yeah, that's the other second bike, and the third one is I don't want to mention it. So these are the two primary bikes which I have right now, which I ride.
What advice you will give to the people who are buying the bike for the very first time?
So my advice would be have friends in the biking community. Whatever you have, uh, join the community, join the bikers community, go for rides, make friends. See, if I know you ride a motorcycle and I know you ride very good, I will definitely give you my bike to try. So you have to build that trust कि भाई ये बंदे को बाइक देगा तो you won't ruin it. Otherwise, who are actual bikers, they will definitely give you the keys for you to experience the bike so that you feel what you're missing out on or what you should be riding. Like my friends did back in the day, ki yaar le chala chala. So that actually encouraged me and that made me more, open to what I actually want. So I rode the cruiser, rode the sports bike, naked bike, adventure bike. So it gives you a good idea on what exactly you like, what kind of riding style do you want. So my ultimate uh, suggestion would be try out the bikes. Don't go on the spec sheets. It should suit you. You suit you, your personality, your the way of riding. If you are the person who's a leisure rider, you cannot buy a Duke 390. It's a maniac machine. So you have to keep on driving it. You have to shift gears constantly. So you experience it. You take a feel of the motorcycle. You how you like it. Then secondary. Then you have to, how is it? You don't buy a bike as per your budget. So you say you have got 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees. I'll buy a bike in 2 lakh rupees. Don't do that. Shortlist a few bikes, and if the bike you like is about 3.5, 4 lakhs, and if you have the budget of 2 lakhs, do not compromise. Wait for another 6 months, 8 months, and go for the bike you want. Because if you buy a bike you don't want, you eventually will end up selling it because that's how human works. So you would be like you have just bought a compromise. So what I want to say is, uh, yeah, you'll have to wait for your bike. If you have to wait another 6 months, do it. Arrange the money, make it possible, and buy the bike you want, and not what your bank account tells you what you can afford. So yeah, patience is the key. That's my suggestion to experience the bike and then go for it.
In one of the first few Fast and Furious movies, Dom said that if you and your car are connected, then it will be a hell of a ride.
Exactly. That's a very good one. Yeah.
I saw a lot of people doing crazy stunts to impress girls. Like they do very dangerous stunts. What your opinion on that? And if you can you give me some advice to those kids?
See, it's your life. You're basically an adult, and you have to live with the consequences after whatever happens. Uh, People like these have ruined the name for KTM. So it's actually the numbers for sale has actually reduced because people do not want to be associated with that brand because it's a Chapri brand. So it is not a Chapri brand. It is how you ride it. Anyone can make a Bullet Chapri or any. It's not the brand, but yeah, impressing girls and all. I don't know.